So this is basically just going to be a tier list on the best legendaries to craft from the Darkmoon expansion, and this list may grow as more decks become meta, but these are basically just going to be the best ones. I'm just going to tell you if you should craft a card or not craft a card, so let's jump into it. Il'gynoth, but must craft. Basically, if you want to play Demon Hunter, this card gives you so much extra reach. I do think that Kayn's Sun Fury is better than Il'gynoth, but I think Il'gynoth is still a very powerful legendary that is an almost must craft if you want to make the best Demon Hunter deck. Zai is doo-doo and do not craft. Going next, Kiri, I'd say is a craft. I'd say that this Kiri is definitely a craft because he can go into a couple of different decks and the amount of resource generation is very good. I wouldn't say he's a must craft. I'd say it's like a 6.5, 7 out of 10. So you can get away with not having him, but he definitely is good. Grebel, I'm going to say no, although it is close. It's one of those ones where it's like on the line, and I just want to be conservative and not tell you to craft a card that's like just about average. So Grebel is definitely on the don't craft side, but I could very easily see this card being good. And in a Highlander Druid deck, this guy definitely fits in, let me tell you. Rinling's Rifle, very good card. I would say craft if you want to go secret or Highlander, or even if you just go any sort of hunter. The fact that you're able to get some secrets which can get you out of a sticky situation is very good. So I'd say that this card is a pretty solid craft. I would do it. And then Maxima is pretty doo-doo. Mage, actually, okay, so Mage is in a bad spot right now because I don't think that it has any really good decks except for maybe Secret Mage. So Sage is if you want to play Mage, Sage is pretty solid. But Deck of Lunacy is actually a really good card if Mage didn't suck so much. So I don't know really how to rate these because both of these cards are really strong, and in like any other class would be quite powerful. But I think that Mage is just, at least at the beginning of the expansion, a little bit weak right now, which means that these cards seem a little bit less powerful. So I'm gonna say both of these are don't crafts, but they're also way in the middle, and if somebody comes out with a good Mage deck, or if you're really dedicated to Mage and you want to make this work, then craft these cards. Both of them could definitely be quite strong. Paladin, see, I don't know how I feel about this. If you want to run Dude Paladin, Lothraxion is very good. I'd say that of the two, he's definitely the better of the two legendaries from Paladin. And I'd say that he's a definite craft if you want to go Dude Paladin. He even fits in Pure or just Libram, because if you're going to be pressing that hero power button, it's just nice to have. So I'd say that he's a very solid craft. Yril is weird because like it looks like it would be good. It's just for 8 mana, it's a little bit slow. Like if it was a 5/5 with the same effect for 6, or a 5/4 with the same effect for like 6, I would see this card being so much better. But the fact that it's so slow is it comes out too late for aggro matchups, and it's not quite strong enough in other matchups. Like you could just run Siamat and you wouldn't get the lifesteal, but you could get the Rush Divine Shield part, which is extremely powerful, and it would be like he'd be a slightly more durable card. I don't know, I'm just unimpressed with Yril. If you're running a pure Paladin, it definitely fits, but I just don't think it's strong enough to say it's a must craft. I'm gonna say it's a don't craft unless somebody makes a slower pure Paladin build that can really utilize Yril's value. Next, Priest. I really thought the Nameless one was going to be much better than it turned out to be. So far, it hasn't really seen any play, and I kind of don't like the card very much from my own experience, but I could see it being better if there are more cards that go with buffs, like if Paladin becomes huge, right? If Paladin becomes the most played class, or if Rogue with some Edwins or questing Explorers become really powerful, I could see this card being decent, but for now, I'd say it's a not craft. And Gahun is actually really good value, but again, I don't think it's quite good enough, especially considering health is such an important resource, especially with so many aggro decks out right now. I'm going to say that neither of these are really important crafts, but if it becomes a slower meta where health isn't as important, Gahun could be really good. And if you're playing against a lot of rogues or paladins, the Nameless one could be really good as well. Rogue. Both of these cards are very good. I think that Tenwu is technically stronger, a more well-rounded card you could just throw into multiple different decks, but the Grand Empress is actually very good in Teddy Bear Rogue, a deck that I made not too long ago and absolutely loved. And in that deck, Grand Empress is absolutely essential to draw the shadows or the teddy bears, refill your hand, fill your board. It's just a really powerful card. This is more of a niche pick, but if you want to go with Teddy Bear Rogue, definitely a solid craft. Shaman. The Totem, if you want to go Totem, Shaman, absolute must craft. Like, both of these legendaries are ridiculously strong and really make their deck archetype significantly better. So I would say both of these are very solid crafts. Mage Finn is in here because I just looked up legendary and he gives you randomly legendary minions, but he's not included on this list basically. But both of these cards are extremely strong for their respective archetypes. They kind of make or break the deck. Like, the fact that this is a 4 health minion means he can survive a decent amount of pressure, and if you're able to get some board presence and then drop this guy, it can basically win you the game. And an R just gives you so much burst that it basically makes aggro Shaman extremely powerful. Warlock. Deck of Chaos I don't think is very good, at least not in this meta right now, because everybody's going aggressive decks. It's just a little bit slow. But I think that in the next couple of months, this deck will be really good. Because the meta generally goes in 3 directions. It goes aggro decks at the beginning of the meta. Then it goes control decks in the middle after you start beating the aggro decks. And then it becomes cool combo decks to beat the control decks. Because aggro decks aren't played as much anymore because you beat them with control. So around the last third of the expansion, I could see Deck of Chaos being a good card in a more combo-based deck, but for right now, with so many aggro decks out there, or just like high-value decks, I don't think it's super strong. Ticketus is probably one of the best Warlock legendaries right now. The fact that you can get multiple copies of it and just remove cards from the opponent is so strong. It basically makes you win most control matchups, especially if you can burn an important card. And into aggro matchups, you can theoretically just play it as an 8-mana or a 6-mana 8/8 if you're getting kind of run down and you need a minion. So it's not even that bad in that area either. And so the Ticketus is a solid craft. Warrior. Both of these cards are good. ETC is actually a very good combo deck, so very strong. And Ringmaster, drawing 3 cards on turn 5 and getting a body out there is never bad. It's basically like a slightly worse version of Subject 9, but still very strong. Gets you 3 cards of a specific type, has some cool synergies. So I would say that definitely both of these are must craft. And then neutral, all the old gods. Cthulhu and Azoth are pretty bad. Yogg is by far the best one and more flexible than all the other ones. And then Yasharj, I think, is the second best. So I think it goes, if you're going to build the old gods, I think it goes in this order. 1, 2, 3, 4. Although both of these are pretty bad, so it could be 3, 4 depending on your playstyle. But Yogg is definitely above, way up here. Yasharj is like a good amount below, but a solid number 2. And then the other 2 are like close, but down here. So just a quick rundown. Yes, no. Yes, maybe. Yes, no. Maybe, depending on where the meta ends up going, or if you really just like Mage. Yes, no, not right now. No, but like they could be if the meta shifts. Yes. No, yes. Yes. No, yes. And that's basically it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I wanted to make this a quick video. If you guys enjoyed, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I can do a list like this again in like a month or so and tell you what's better just in general with more information. But for right now, this is just my my beginning ideas, because people on stream ask me all the time what I think the best legendaries are, what legendary should you craft, and this is just the list of things I would recommend. Because it is early to tell, but people do want to start playing a lot of these cool new decks, so I'm basically trying to tell you the safe legendary options to craft. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Also hit the subscribe button and the notification button, because a lot of you guys apparently don't do that. And because like 70% of you aren't subscribed and only 9% of you have the notification button on, and both of those are lower than the average, and it would just help me out a ton. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.